from Try It Like It Created, and today I am working with an SGV file from Dreaming Tree to make a clock. The file that I'm using was a pendulum clock, and I've altered it a little bit to make it more modern and a floral feminine design. So I have all my pieces, I've grouped them together, and so the next step is I'm going to fold on all of the dotted lines, and then I will start gluing. I want to show you that the designed pieces that fold come in two different ways. I don't know if you can see this online or not, but it has a dashed line where you can fold. And now they also send you a file with the score lines being straight lines, and then in your machine you could set those to score instead of dash like the ones I have here. So it's your choice, whichever format. I went ahead and used the dash, that way I didn't have to reset the file to score. I didn't have to resize anything. Everything came perfect size. The only thing I did have to do on my Cricut Maker was to attach each of the files to make sure that they sat in the same place. And the alterations you'll see was that it was a pendulum clock, and I deleted the opening on some of the pages, or some of the pieces for the pendulum, and there was also a back design piece that I chose not to cut because it's the back of the clock, and I don't need to decorate it. And then I also changed the face of the clock to a design that I created to put on my clock. So those are the differences that I have made to this file, but other than that, I am just following along. They give you a PDF file showing you step by step what needs to be cut, and then they also have on their website a video tutorial putting the pieces together, and so I found that to be really helpful as well. So I am going to fold pieces here and then glue. So I will be back to show you my steps in process. So the next step for gluing, I am almost done with this part here. I first took all of these side panels and made sure they were all facing the right direction, and then I took my design pieces and made sure that they were all facing the same direction as well, because my pattern is floral, and if I were to put it upside down, although it's abstract, I don't really like the look of that. So I made sure that everything was facing the right direction, and then I just glued the decorative piece here, and then I put it onto the panel where it belongs. Now off camera I've glued a couple other things. I glued the face of my clock onto the clock flat part, I guess, face as well, and just made sure that my numbers for noon, 12 and 6, and 3 and 9 were centered in their space. And then there was this supportive piece that fit on here, and I glued that as well. So now my next thing I'm going to do is to take these pieces and then glue them together to make the outer edge of the clock. And how they say to do that is to put glue on the tab and then line them up, and while that's still tacky, to fold them, make sure you're along that edge and all of these shapes line up with each other. So I don't know, that seems easier said than done. It seems to be moving on me here a little bit. So I just want to make sure that that's all lined up and that works. So I'm going to continue that on around the whole edge. Okay, so I have finished gluing the outer edges that go together like so, and I'm going to set this piece aside because I don't need it right now. And then the next thing is to take the one with the circle and put it inside, and then that's going to kind of firm up those edges, and we're going to start gluing those pieces down. So what they suggest doing is taking this flap here, putting your glue on it, folding it down, and then to get this piece in place, you want to flip it over and then glue that one and push up on this edge here so it's nice and tight. Alright. And then we're going to continue that process kind of around the whole piece, working across from each other. So I'm doing 12 and 6, and then I'll do 3 and 9, and then I'll do the rest of them. So I will do this and then come back and show you what's next. So I've finished gluing in this bottom piece, and the next thing I want to do is take the piece that has a little L on it, and it was kind of hard to find it. Let me see if I can locate it again for you. Okay, so it's right here. I don't know if it's showing up on camera or not, but that's the piece you want to find, and we're going to slip it inside and then glue it up to these flaps. Okay, so I'm going to do that off camera, and then with this one, this is this kind of smaller ring here, we're going to flip in the bottom pieces and flip out the top pieces, and then we're going to take this piece that has a circle, and I believe he said this one also had, yep, this one also has the L on it, and you just slip that in, make sure it fits nice, and if you're having trouble with it fitting, he suggested that you rotate it until you find how it will fit well, and then we're going to, glue the same way. We're just going to take a tab, put glue on it, and then flip it over, and then as we go to attach it to that piece, you want to push it up against the edge and then work the opposite one. So I'm going to do that for both of these pieces, and then I'll come back and show you what we're doing next. When I work on this piece here, as we go to glue this up here, just show you real quick, and we go to push that together, we turn it upside down to push on our table. We're going to reach through the opening here and push on the edge and make sure that's stuck on there well, and then we're going to do work the opposites again. So as soon as I'm done with that, I'll be back to show you. So I have the gluing step done, and so this is where I am at with the box container of the clock itself. And so this outer piece is now glued in place. I'm going to set that aside so it dries. He has a really neat tip for any edges that are like lifting, or if they're not sticking well. He takes a piece of cardstock in his video and puts glue on it and then slides it under there to get the glue where you need it. And I found that really useful and helpful, and I did that a few times on this piece. So let me see, I have just one that's a little teeny lifting there. So just put a little bit of glue on a scrap piece of cardstock. I don't know if you can see this is lifting up a little bit, so I'm going to slide that glue underneath there and just get the glue on it, and then go inside and push down on it. So I found that really useful tip. Next thing to do is to glue our clock face in place. Now if you have numbers, you want to make sure when you're getting ready to put your clock together that you have everything going the right direction. Since mine is just graphic shapes, rectangles. I don't have to worry about putting this together correctly. So I'm just going to slide this in here and push in the corners, wipe off any glue that might be showing. All right, and now this piece is ready to be attached to this other piece. Okay, so now I am not using the pendulum, so I don't have to worry about that, but I do have to worry about this piece in the right direction. So I want to have the little circle, I believe that's the hanger. I want that at the top, and that's where my 12 o'clock is going to be. And with my clock design, I have the 12, the 6, the 3, and the 9, just a tad bit larger than the others. So I want to make sure that those are at the top. And then this whole piece here just slides in. I was working on it a little bit earlier, and if you don't have your tabs facing out like this, the whole thing just kind of drops into the clock base. So you just want to be gentle with this, sliding it in here to fit. And so that's how it fits. And then we're going to go through and glue each of these down, reaching in here. You can get your fingers inside there to make sure they're glued down in place. So that's my next step, is to go around and glue this into place. So it's starting to shape up and look like a clock, and I'll be back in a little bit to show you what's next. All right, so we're starting to finish things up here, and working on the back of my clock. I have cut out a piece of foam core that will fit my clock mechanism like so, and I am just going to glue that into the box, and then I am going to glue this back piece. Now the pattern also comes with a decorative piece for this. I chose not to do that, so I'm just going to leave mine with a pink back on my clock, and this lifts up to put the clock mechanism in, and then we need to glue the front. So let me do these two steps and then I'll be back. So I have this back piece attached, and I have my foam core stuck inside. As you go around the edges, you want to make sure that you've got a really nice seal and alignment along these edges here. So you can push from the inside and the outside. Just give it a little bit of love to make sure everything is stuck down, and then make sure that these pieces are stuck together well here. If you find them opening up like this, you can use that kind of glue trick to slide some glue in between those two pieces. And then I'm just going to pinch them, make sure they're nice and sealed there. And this side, oh, there's a little bit of gap there too. Alright, so I'm going to glue that one using that fabulous tip they gave us in the video. Alright, so this is really starting to shape up, and it was a lot easier than I thought, especially having a video to follow along with. Alright, so now that we're back to the top piece here, I'm going to glue all the way around here, and then I have the front panel I kind of forgot about. I need to put my decorations on here. So I'm going to put these blue strips, and then I'm going to take some of these pearly stickers and put them in between each of those. So I will show you that. For this front part, we're going to put the glue on here. and try to get really close to both edges. And we're going to put in kind of what I would call a liner piece. It's the piece that just kind of covers all of this up. I'm going to use my finger here to make sure I've got glue along all these edges. Alright, and so now I'm going to take this piece, put it on top, make sure I'm lining it up well. Any glue that's sticking out, I'm going to wipe off. Okay, it's starting to look finished. And then I'm going to flip this over and just kind of push down from the inside. So I have finished gluing the front decorative pieces. I've got the blue paper here, and then I've got these little gems here. I'm opening up my clock pieces and seeing that they are gold, and I'm not really liking the look of the gold on the clock, so I'm going to change them to blue, and I'm using a navy blue alcohol ink marker, and I'm just going to go over these pieces. Now with the gold, it's going to make it more of a green color, but I think I'm going to like that better than the gold itself. So you can see the marks I'm making are definitely blue, but they're mixing with the gold and becoming a kind of a green color. So I might try to go over those twice if I can get a little bit more blue in them. That would be really nice. But if not, we'll just use them as green. Now the alcohol ink marker is going to dry real quick. And if you don't like the mark you've left, like I have some there that I had my finger on, you can just go over it again. And it will straighten it all out. So this one's getting a little bit clumpy back here. And if I don't like it, I can remove it with alcohol, rubbing alcohol. So it doesn't really need to stay this color if I don't like it. Just give these a second coat. See if I can get it to darken up or to maybe blue up a little bit. Is that even a word? I don't know. Alright, so then I just need to kind of glue the top on. Let those sit off to the side for a second. Alright, we're going to glue the top on here, this decorative piece on the front, and then we just need to put our clock mechanism in, and then we're good to go. I did note that putting this first kind of protective barrier piece on, that it took a little bit more glue than I thought. So be generous with glue around this edge here, around the seams, and I'm actually gonna spread it around with my fingers before I actually attach that top piece. So I'm gonna make sure I've got glue, a really nice coverage. This is much thicker than the first time I put a piece on here, and I really had to go in and kind of fix some places, so that's why I'm going at this a little bit thicker for this last piece. Making sure I am right up against all those edges. Wipe off my fingers here. And let's see, which is the top? Okay, so that's the top. And I just want to look at my flowers and decide how I want them on here. I think like this. And then I'm just going to go around and make sure that this is all lined up how I want it.